Hello, our Lives channel. Today we will dive deep into the explosive reactions from viewers regarding the promo for the week of October 27th, 2025, titled All the Rage. This week promises to deliver intense emotional confrontations, shocking revelations, and dramatic turning points that have fans buzzing with anticipation and strong opinions about their favorite characters. Maggie's controversial stance against Xander. One of the most heated discussions among viewers centers on Maggie Kyriakis and her determination to hold Xander accountable for his violent attack on Philip. Fans are divided on whether Maggie's righteous anger is justified or if she's being hypocritical given Sarah's own role in the deception. Many viewers point out that Maggie seems to have selective memory when it comes to her daughter's questionable decisions, particularly Sarah's choice to hide the truth about Philip's forged letter for an extended period. The audience notes that while Xander certainly crossed a line by resorting to violence, Sarah and Maggie's concealment of Philip's lies created the powder keg that eventually exploded. Several fans emphasize that Philip himself has moved past the incident and appears ready to forgive. Yet Maggie continues to push for criminal charges against Xander, potentially destroying not just his marriage but his entire future. This disconnect between Philip's willingness to let bygones be bygones and Maggie's crusade for justice has viewers questioning whether she's truly acting in her family's best interest or simply punishing Xander for being imperfect. The Rage Room concept. The introduction of a rage room where Brady and Sarah can physically destroy objects to release their anger and frustration has generated mixed reactions from the fanbase. While some viewers express genuine interest in seeing this therapeutic outlet explored on screen, others criticize it as an unnecessary gimmick that wastes the show's already limited budget. One particularly poignant comment comes from a viewer celebrating 140 days of sobriety, who sees the Rage Room as a potentially healthy coping mechanism for dealing with overwhelming emotions without resorting to destructive behaviors. However, critics argue that Sarah, as a grown woman and medical professional, should find more mature ways to process her feelings rather than smashing objects like a teenager throwing a tantrum. The concept itself speaks to the mounting pressure both characters face. Brady continues to struggle with his sobriety journey while dealing with the fallout from his own mistakes, and Sarah must confront the devastating reality that her husband attempted to murder his own brother. The Rage Room becomes a metaphor for the explosive emotions bubbling beneath the surface of Salem's most troubled residents. Sarah and Xander's relationship breakdown. The complete collapse of Sarah and Xander's marriage has viewers expressing deep frustration with the repetitive nature of their storyline. Fans note that this couple seems trapped in an endless cycle of lies, betrayals, reconciliations, and breakups that has become predictable and exhausting to watch. Many viewers argue that Sarah's decision to immediately file for divorce and shut Xander out completely fails to acknowledge her own significant role in creating this catastrophic situation. By keeping Philip's deception a secret for so long, Sarah denied Xander the opportunity to process the truth with her support, which might have prevented his violent reaction. Several fans point out the double standard at play. Sarah faces no consequences for her prolonged deception, yet Xander's explosive response to learning he was manipulated threatens to cost him everything, including access to his daughter Victoria. The audience questions whether Sarah genuinely has the moral high ground she claims, especially considering her own history of questionable decisions and the fact that she actively chose to protect Philip rather than being honest with her husband. Some viewers hold out hope that this couple will eventually find their way back to each other, as they always seem to do, while others fear the relationship has become toxic and irreparable. Philip's role and the question of charges. A recurring theme in viewer commentary is the belief that Philip himself should be the one deciding whether to press charges against Xander, not Maggie stepping in to make that choice for him. Fans appreciate that Philip appears ready to forgive his brother and move forward, especially now that the two half-brothers have finally started building a genuine connection. Many viewers argue that with Titan Industries facing serious financial difficulties, the last thing the Kyriakis family needs is internal conflict that sends one of their key players to prison. The timing couldn't be worse, just as Xander and Philip were beginning to establish trust and work together to save their family legacy. Maggie's intervention threatens to destroy that fragile bond. Several fans suggest that Philip will ultimately refuse to testify against Xander or will even speak in his defense, recognizing that his own lies and manipulations set these tragic events in motion. The legal complications are also a topic of discussion, with some viewers noting that without Philip's cooperation and testimony, prosecutors would have difficulty building a case against Xander based solely on his confession to family members. This creates an interesting dynamic where Maggie's determination to see justice served might be thwarted by Philip's decision to prioritize family reconciliation over legal punishment. Abe, Theo, and the Liam situation. Viewers express significant frustration with Abe's apparent obliviousness to his son Theo's concerns about Liam, who will be revealed as Theo's former high school bully. Fans point out that as a father figure, Abe should have been more attentive to Theo's warnings and emotional state before committing to mentor the very person who tormented his son. The introduction of Liam, played by Hank Northrup, son of the late Wayne Northrup who portrayed Roman Brady, has generated considerable interest, though many viewers predict trouble ahead. Several fans speculate that Liam hasn't changed since his bullying days and may continue to harass Theo or even escalate his behavior now that he has access to Theo's family through Abe. The storyline raises questions about Abe's priorities and whether he's been so focused on his mayoral duties and literacy program that he's neglected to truly listen to his son about serious concerns. Viewers worry that Abe's decision to work closely with Liam despite Theo's objections will create significant family tension and potentially put Theo in a vulnerable position. The Tony and Andre twist. Perhaps the most exciting speculation among fans revolves around EJ's discovery that his brother Tony is missing and the widespread belief that the person living in the DiMera mansion has actually been Andre all along. This theory has gained tremendous traction in the comment sections, with viewers pointing to subtle clues they've noticed that suggest Tony has been behaving more like his scheming twin. The history of Andre kidnapping Tony is well documented in Days of Our Lives lore. In previous storylines, Andre intercepted Tony when he tried to leave Salem, kidnapped him, and took his place for extended periods. Fans familiar with this history immediately recognized the possibility that this classic soap opera switcheroo could be happening again. Many viewers express hope that Anna will quickly become suspicious and work to uncover the truth about her husband's disappearance, potentially teaming up with EJ to locate the real Tony. The potential involvement of Megan DiMera as Andre's accomplice adds another layer of intrigue that has fans eagerly anticipating how this mystery will unfold. This storyline represents the kind of classic soap opera drama that longtime viewers crave: identity swaps, family intrigue, and the perpetual scheming that defines the DiMera family legacy. Leo, Javi, and the adoption battle. The emerging storyline involving Leo and Javi's fight to adopt baby Tesoro Little T has generated sympathetic responses from viewers who appreciate seeing LGBTQ+ representation in parenting storylines on daytime television. Fans express admiration for Leo's determination to fight for this child despite the obstacles presented by Amy's interference and concerns about whether the couple will qualify as adoptive parents given their complicated histories. However, there's also recognition that Leo's past criminal activities and Javi's tragic history, though Javi himself wasn't responsible for his daughter's death in the hot car incident, could legitimately complicate their adoption prospects. Many viewers argue that Amy needs to step back and allow Sophia to make her own decisions about her baby's future, while others understand Amy's protective instincts as a mother worried about her daughter's well-being. The introduction of Aaron as someone who might support Leo and Javi's adoption efforts has fans hopeful that this couple will get their chance at parenthood. Several commenters suggest that if Leo and Javi truly want to succeed in adopting, they may need to consider alternative options, such as Javi partnering with someone other than Leo who has a cleaner legal record, or exploring adoption through agencies rather than private arrangements. Theo as DiMera CEO. The decision to install Theo as CEO of DiMera Enterprises has sparked debate among viewers, with some questioning whether this makes narrative sense while others defend it as Theo's birthright as a DiMera family member. Fans who support the choice point out that Tony, or rather Andre pretending to be Tony, specifically named Theo to the position to keep DiMera leadership within the family bloodline, which takes precedence over competence or experience in the DiMera world. However, Critics argue that Theo's autism spectrum characteristics and relative inexperience in corporate warfare make him vulnerable to manipulation by more seasoned schemers. Several viewers express concern that Theo is being used as a pawn in a larger game, possibly by Andre himself if the twin switch theory proves true. The storyline also raises questions about diversity representation, with some fans appreciating the inclusion of a neurodivergent character in a position of power, while others worry the show isn't handling the complexity of the situation with sufficient nuance. Regardless of the controversies, most viewers agree that Theo will always be a Carver at heart, shaped more by Abe and Lexi's influence than by DiMera blood. Xander's redemption arc and anger management. Many fans note the irony that Xander had been actively working on himself through anger management sessions with Marlena before this incident occurred. Viewers express frustration that the writers seem determined to keep Xander in a perpetual cycle of progress and regression rather than allowing genuine character growth. The fact that Marlena will be advising Xander during the October 27th week suggests he'll continue seeking therapeutic support, but fans question whether it's too little too late given the severity of his assault on Philip. Several commenters argue that the show unfairly punishes Xander for his mistakes while giving other characters, particularly Sarah, a pass for equally damaging deceptions. The audience seems divided between those who believe Xander deserves whatever consequences come his way for beating Philip to a bloody pulp, and those who see him as a flawed man genuinely trying to change but constantly undermined by circumstances and other people's lies. This tension speaks to the complexity of Xander's character and why he remains such a polarizing but compelling figure in Salem. The week of October 27th promises to deliver the kind of high-stakes drama, emotional confrontations, and shocking revelations that Days of Our Lives fans live for, with the Rage Room serving as both a literal and metaphorical representation of the explosive tensions threatening to tear Salem's families apart.